Welcome back. It's time for headlines,
but today is throwback. Why is Harriet not playing any throwback song?
Harriet herself has been thrown back.
Or
so
Harriet and Cyril have conspired to. Because usually Harriet will say she's on top and riding. Or
rising,
okay.
Not riding.
Okay, sure.
She's on top and rising.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, it's time for headlines. Don't mind Johnny. So we'll start off with a Daily Statement, and it says, tractor assembling plant to be established in Tamale. Also, Ghana goes digital as president launches Ghana Post GPS. Then Atachia is worried about substandard cement, and he's the minister for what's it called?
Works and Housing.
Yes.
Yeah, Works and Housing, right.
So he is concerned about the substandard cement, of course, because if we're building with substandard cements, then the buildings won't last long and we'll have to put money into places where it's going to go away. So definitely he should be worried. And people who know about these substandard cements on the market should make sure we're flushing them out of the system one way or another.
Well, I find it quite sometimes ridiculous when people in authority who have the impetus to be able to crack the whip. For example, you have the Bank of Ghana come to make an announcement that, oh, so and so organization is not credible, so don't transact business with them.
Whereas they should
Whereas
just close them down.
Yes, you have the power to shut them down. If indeed they are not credible, and you know that we have had our own set of problems with some financial institutions, why do you keep them on and come and tell me that I should be vigilant? Really? I mean, so if within 300, 400, 500 meter radius, they are the only financial institution there, and I still need to save my money. I need to travel miles and miles away to go and save it. I think that sometimes we should be very, circumspect, as they always tell us to be in our reports, in our reportage. You are the Minister for Works and Housing, and I'm not faulting him for that, but I'm saying that instead of complaining and saying that, well, this is it, can we rather call stakeholders and those
but he also gave the assurance that he will liaise with the presidency and Ministry of Trade to try and curb the importation of these substandard
Again, we're going through the long haul, really. How long ago did Mr. Atachia or Lawyer Atachia know or realize that we had substandard cement? And how long ago did it take him to make this pronouncement? And how long is it going to take him to go and liaise with the president and whoever he says he would liaise with to be able to solve it? By which time, how many homes would have been constructed with this? How many factories would have been put up with this? How many hospitals? How many schools? How many people would have, suffered the relapse of this unfortunate situation where buildings will collapse? Where we know, and even now where people don't want to use architects and the rest, they would only find a mason who has been following a certain architect around, so because they want cheap labor and all of that. So we demand the best from those who put in authority. I've always said that when you have a politician or a leader leave home every morning and tell his wife and his children, or her wife and her husband and her children, that I'm going to work, what is it that they are going to work to do? The work that we gave them to do, are they doing it? That's the point. That's the question we're asking. So it's not really about, yes, we're complaining. Beyond the complaining, what we do every time we hear duty bearers, they're complaining about this, they're complaining about that. We should be complaining, and you should be fixing the problems. That's all. That's all we're asking for.
So we hope that assurance they've given us to liaise and still clamp down, because like you said, these other ones have already come into the system. There's not much maybe they can do, but subsequently we want to see a clamp down on it.
You see, the Ministry of Works and Housing may have something to do with the Ghana Standards Authority in terms of building materials. Then you have, we have processes and organizations where these cement manufacturing companies, whether they are importing them or whatever it is, go through. Yes, we have to test them to know that this is the standard, the quality we are looking for. How come the substandard cements got into our market in the first place? You see, so we're paying people to police us and to make sure that we are safe. We are not getting the full complement of it. And then you have the minister complaining that, well, this is it, substandard cement. And if you read the story, you can clearly tell. And for me, it doesn't wash. It doesn't wash at all. And we want to be, I don't believe that we should continue to be a third world country, even by 2018, 2019. Then we're happy to say we're a third world country, or we're developing. Really? For how long will we be a developing country?
Yeah, like a baby who's growing, they never grow into an adult.
Really? Come on.
I agree.
Come
anyway,
on.
but the good news is Ghana has gone digital as the president has launched Ghana Post GPS. I don't know if
That's
you tried it.
That's good. I mean, yesterday I saw a couple of people downloading it.
Yeah.
133 megabytes. So I was very careful. Yeah.
But eventually you have to download it because I tried it. I tried the Asase GPS version, which I think Ghana Post also uses, and it works. It's very credible. It gives you a code, an area code, and so at least I think it will help with transportation in terms of having to direct someone to your place instead of saying when you see the wache seller, what if that wache seller doesn't come that morning? Then you're stranded.
If it rains.
But yes, if it rains and she doesn't pack, then it means we'll be in trouble. So at least now when you send that code, the person should easily get to your place. But I must also say that I think we need to give credit to the government that instituted the naming of the streets, because if that was not also done, then we'll have a problem even locating these places on GPS. So certainly some credit goes to all stakeholders who have tried to make this work.
I am happy that this has finally been launched. And for us, what the president said yesterday at the launch was that it makes legitimate some businesses that hitherto were not legitimate.
Right.
So that you go and submit a tender or something. And perhaps this will help the banks in the area of non-performing loans.
Right.
And because if you go to the banks, they would ask you to draw a map. But I'm sure now with this, the banks will just ask you to give them your coordinates and they will go and verify and check. So the era of drawing maps is gone.
Johnny, may even help with land procurement and all the processes that go with it, because then if you sold it and I go and immediately they enter the coordinates, they'll be able to probably pick up that it's already been sold to another person, and all the land guard issues. So definitely we're happy about it. It may curb a lot of issues for us, but also those of you who have left your passports at passport office, this may be a way of them finding you. So they'll come and deposit the passport and maybe you pay something. So it will help in various ways.
Anyway.
And the bad people, the armed robbers, I mean, we may be tracking some people in years to come.
If you have downloaded the app yet, the Asase GPS, let's get to know how you're enjoying it. Are you finding your way through easily? Let's know. Let's share with us. But yesterday...
But I have a concern because I tried using it. I have a problem because when you download, after you've downloaded it, it gives you, it asks you to fill in your data. Okay, there's a confusion because the Asase GPS and the Ghana Post GPS all come from Vocacom company.
But I think that yesterday what was launched
was the Ghana
Post
Post,
GPS,
yes.
right.
And I think that's what Ghana Post will be using to transact its business. But I think this is what I understand. So if there's clarity, I think they should let us have it. Because what I thought was Asase then is for everybody else, but Ghana Post has the legitimacy to use whatever was
I
digitized.
think yesterday we were brooding over this with somebody. That look, now we can identify the various homes.
Yes.
Why don't we collapse the post office system so we can have the boxes situated in front of everybody's house? J. Johnson, has been talking about this. So then we can use the post offices as community libraries, so the children can start reading again. Perhaps something that a minister can think about.
Looking about. Johnny, in a compound where 10 people are sharing one house, okay, they'll share one.
Well, it's the house. I mean,
so it's,
yes, every property has a number. So if it's number 22 Akpakpa Street, it's there, and so you have your box there. So we can use them because we don't have libraries anymore, and the children are not reading, and because of that, they're doing a lot of shortcuts. But are the telcos going to make this free of internet so that everybody can? Because not everybody has access to an Android phone. Not everybody can. Afford the data, so that if your data goes off, I can't find you.
Right.
Is that it? Is that the understanding? If your data goes off and you can't access your internet to check where your GPS is, then I can't find you.
Most likely.
Why should it be so? I mean,
well,
I don't know.
So they should help us, because what I keep getting, they say type in code, area, address or code. When you do that, it says invalid code. Sorry, no address is mapped to the code. So I'm not sure how it works. I think I did it, my friend did it, my family tried it. So if they could help us, more education.
And you have been to school.
Yes.
You're finding it difficult. So I'm imagining those who have not been to school.
They'll try.
Who are finding it. But we're having a big conversation today on Daily Runs. We're asking, should we ban plastics? We've been talking about the Kigali example. I remember after the June 3 disaster, I shoved the microphone in front of President Mahama, and he says that's a consideration we'll make. A few months down the line, we had some big people and people who know people calling and saying, "No, we have invested so much." Then we came with the rule: we need to have plastics with 20 microbes, so that the weight will be heavier, so it won't fly into our gutters. And then we didn't hear of that conversation again. And so many African countries around us are doing it. If you get to the Kigali airport with a plastic bag, they will take it and sell you a paper bag. They will. So, really, I mean, is it possible? Can we ban plastics? Do you ever think we can?
We can. If people have done it, certainly. I think it comes to priority and the mindset to do it, and the political will, as always. So definitely we can.
I mean, in the country where people buy wache in plastics.
That thing, like 3 plastic bags that you take home just for one wache, it doesn't gel.
Or your kegari.
Stop.
It's throwback. So let's the foods that people buy. These days I've seen people buy fufu.
But those things used to be sold on papers. You know, even wache used to be sold in the
or
brown
leaves.
leaf and the green leaves. So maybe we should be looking at that anyway, guys. That's for Daily Rant this morning with George Queenan.
Kenya joins 40 other countries that have banned or partly banned the use of plastic bags, including China, Italy, Rwanda, and France. And this whole law is to reduce plastic pollution in the country. Sanctions for corporates is a fine of $40,000 or a 4-year jail term. A survey has also shown that plastic bags take between 500 and 1,000 years to break down, and it also enters the food chain through fish or other animals. And so should Ghana adopt this whole policy to check plastic pollution in the country? This is Daily Rant. Let's keep talking.
Me, say kase yebeye cleaning ana Ghana yambande where say using of polythene bags ni we are enjejuma. Because Kenya no say Kenya mo bandia one omo factories are they employ people. So I say so they can ban. But say Ghana say factories be na ewo. So I say and omo so mo polythene bag omo so na mo boy. So I say, big companies now, Ghana, individuals now, polythene bag, one of my he says, Obesakino, one, besides a Juma Ben or Damo, when so I had a sakio, and possible.
No rubber bag, not dross, Ghana. First, in Kobau, Kogoma, Ukra basket. What could it dragon? Rubber bag, basunti, or funny sick and non one. Nippa bag of could job, baby, and rubber bag, brutality. Says Ghana, so you baby, a dear Bolagoon. Indian baby, Obenya Biano, a China from a de Quaneba, Shapia water, and no baby to so crack up, work of pipe on them. Was such here in the crass in dear, a being in Ghana. Until I say to pure water such as a hand, a walk room. And no sooner didn't weigh bagani. Until I bang and share, no one some nonca, and run a dozen, you call Cologon Beach. In Sunan woman, in Punangasam, Bole Gumuno. That I try to pass a crab as you are. Anyway,
me should I need a baby. Maybe me who and me chrome where Mancasim come if you talk right or quad docuni, a walk from crab bomb fine. But what better doctor baby Jacobus and a rubber? I must say, Shaman would say, for rubber and for docunum. And so docunum would the rubber to doc and then I've been a set docunum than I didn't know. Young Sandy do I have by the mom. Mamma Sankas have banned no man in and I banned them now. Mamma dear brother and one shop brought any year, but then I ban you suit. To say a bank who of Yaponoka Bankra, one to rubber, I'm fancy to that. Obibo from Bank, and I did what you look at now. Banku boy, I said to rubber, and moved to a rubber, conconte rubber. Eh, Thomas, so Bobo fever, 1 man rubber bag, or talk Kobe back, or some man rubber bag, or turn your door and see the man rubber bag. Bibi abato abato rubber bag. Omo mo rubber bag no so mo fa nkofo mo ye adwuma. Sisi afatre be no mo bia mo se be rubber bag no omo nkonko ye. Na san rubber na still ye employ omo mo ba. Ye ntime fa ye hu ntutu Kenya fo so mo atwam. E be no bodo mo na si bibi so se ade we ye wo bibi se wo ho. Enti na ye di mra we se ayede aba. Na makwala akwa obi abato dokita rubber bag. E kwa wa be ndom wo in fa nam de shop quality bag ma. Meeting van Gitausa. The next time, better no mommy. Paper bag. Paper bag, me will be here. And it will be packed. Now, wash up right a paper bag or polythene.
Many sure say very possible. I just say, polythene bag is a whole market and one and a woho. eno ana wo ho nti no se mo ka se yentwam ana yentwam na say no youth na be dey na won say na obi e company no so wine pray enkrofo a yetu omoka nti no na utwam ana say ne ye den dwuma na be ye ne adwuma bia Kenya no omoka no omo ebia no omo wo nwumanwuma ho a say so omo ka so omo ban dia omo no mbenya adwuma ye ba Ghana ha de adwuma na wa ha hwe se na ye bre youth na wo sam be pa
you see say ka say bi twam a oh we ka say me kan e bi mu de business e bi mu pop my employee nkrofo say hey Charlie political bag tax force omunya hu that to na hey ya chew ombese no
na me busa question ejuma and we health then
ahoɔden no ho hia pa ahoɔden no ho hia ɛkyɛ sɛ Ghana ha no ɛsan sɛ political bag na ba no obi wɔ kɔ wɔ das bi wɔ kɔ di dwa ba no kɔ wɔ sɛ ɔbobɔ na ɔde hyɛ das ba bi ɔkɔtɔ aduane na ɔkyena di yɛ bibia wɔ gya gu hɔ wasɔle na ɔkɔ nti aban no mɛwurawura fiefie no ɔmbɛboa yɛn balance sa wɔn kasa so to hɔ a ɛwɔ sɛ hu sɛ baabi am de adeɛ yi tui ɛnya ntwam obi mɛka nkyɛw sɛ wo kwada obi na ma woda sabi oto frati wo koja wona obi ne so nsem se koja wona na wo yɛ nwura gu ha wo hwɛ mo bia bɛka kyɛw sɛ sɔle na sese hu asa no sese what you say
obi wa wenyi ba on kwara bi nti so wo kyɛn kakra so that say but me catch one thing about life on where you see ano yatiase say we care about your health so what I say but sometimes so say adwin employment employers na ya employer so I say you see ano say kase bandia me to me make can say ube to obi asan a because say then why man
enra me kwoto aduane na me fa me bowl na me de koy na me kwoto me ba bisa me say say Cynthia won fela de kra na wo de bowl akwoto aduane na me si first no ke ya kwoto aduane okita wo chance wo bua na si basket na wo de ni chance tiri na bua so na lazy yadan ahata so me na politin bag nti nyame angba kra wo sika kra akwajira wo fa ho na akọ
nti na me go ejuma and no health which one is more
me dem health ni hia Ghana fo ankasa sabi me ankasa me kan ye yesu atena me hu ye me nyi yo ba first u kokroma mu se nsuo wa hinam ye pumpunu mu a mu hwehwem na mo si enye ka nkofo se boy ya TV
of course caps no mean to me dey
it is a rubber bana take away gugu for mo se some fine chalo te ma ye be hye nti man comprehend rubber
nkwa ho hia nso political bag ne dey yentumi ntwam nkwa de ho hia nti se wo market na akota de a enu amu ene ye de be hye nti no nkwa ne de ho hia nti ne ya me ka na senka se na ban no omo ye political bag na de ade no tax no onye ne kese ne yemfa bi nto das bi ni ade yensi promuti so wonam easy na
de be na mo di nsuo gum na mo de political eno me be na mo fa nye purpose
man ka se da na ka se me anya makondo na me di aye
to say fishermen ni say omo ko fish na omo ko chinama no best new doors it me sure say bi by be 2050 no amukochi inama ye rubber na beba
mo de ba me alas me kompo anu na chuyi aba enam nketenkete ni ade na ba nwura ukoto nam na mo hwe ma wo de ba fie nwura ba yi awo mu no e ni rubber na yi wo mu no rubber sa ba yi wo doors sin nam no kra ya de kote ne de ye no kra pa
Kenya for no ade we omo de bae omo use be 10 years amu attempt be 3 times when is that no Ghana
so Kenya for use 10 years 50,000 years before I bet my
oh nya 1,000 years ya kasa ye ebe ye
hwe adie mpo a na say sat omampeni sat akutia mpo then amafo akutia omampeni Ghana kasa won adwene bad ya bi na black o woni say kala say mpo okumpo amafo akutia no so that say in say no so sorry putting back for so a o dey
kakram de betumi no anu ma no foto wo fie na sabi uka banku a menta rubber bogu adem fan na wakata so de hye baby obeyi sa de banku ne tia net enye hye so pen kwa de a ne enya rubber no madidie ukodwoma fa basket.
Should Ghana adopt Kenya's policy on the ban on the use of plastic bags aimed at correcting plastic pollution in the country? Let's know what you think about this. Log on to our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's News on TV3, and on Twitter, it's a News TV3. Our WhatsApp line is 050-823-5228. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back and thank you very much indeed. We'll get into the news review segment. Daily Guide this morning reports that a merry hot over $510 million deal. I'm sad, says CID boss COP Bright Odro. And Nanato launches Jack, where are you? As a GPS system. The Daily Graphic says no more reference to Blue Kiosk as President launches digital addressing system. KT Hammond accuses Ameri Energy of shortchanging Ghana. EU supports food security in ECOWAS countries. And the Daily Heritage this morning says Shy State gets chief after 17 years of dispute. Barbaric fresh baby found in Subin River. And Greater Accra House of Chiefs blasted over induction of Manche. Sack NDC people at NLA. MPP vigilante group pressurizes NLA boss. And the Daily Statement says tractor assembling plant to be established in Tamale. Ghana goes digital as President launches Ghana Post GPS. Atachi are worried about substandard cement. The new Maritime and Transport Digest says government committed to effective and efficient trade facilitation. And finally, the Independent says Volta region angry and set to demonstrate over bad Eastern Corridor Road. There's been a road that's lingered on forever. We'll talk about it here. My guest this morning, Dr. Edward Kwapong, is an HR practitioner and the head of HR Perspective. Doc, welcome. And Ricky Kasisa Pepra, founder, Youth Enterprise Development Network. Chief, welcome. Good morning. And how are we doing?
We're doing well by His grace.
Absolutely. Yesterday, the president launched an initiative that many consider as having taken too long in arriving. Your thoughts, Doc?
Well, it's a step in the right direction, and it's also a fulfillment of a campaign promise. Yes. What is exciting about it, though, is that the whole idea of property addressing system was started by the previous government. Okay. Street naming project, which covered the whole country. And this government is building upon that. So for me, it's a continuation of something that a previous government did. And I appreciate that. There have been situations where incoming governments rubbish everything that the previous government did. And this time around, it's building upon what has been done. And so I want to congratulate the president for this bold initiative. Having said that, I think it comes with a lot of advantages. Digitally being able to locate properties of people in this country will enable us track where properties are, charge appropriate property rates, know who owns what, for purposes of, say, raising loans in the banks. The cost of borrowing funds can be high if you are not well located, if we are not sure about who you are, what property you own, and what you can offer as collateral. So for me, it's going to make business easier to transact in this country. And then again, visitors come into this country, they want to go to certain places, and they have to hire tour guides to go along with them because you didn't have a means of identifying locations of places. It added to cost of tourism in this country. But in a situation where you just jump into a car, position your navigation tool, and then drive straight to the point. It makes it easier.
One would say that would be loss of jobs for the tour guides.
Well, there's cost and benefits, but I guess businessmen always want to maximize profits, and where they can cut costs, of course, they want to cut costs. The tour guides could find other means of employment one way or the other. So for me, yes. Now there is like no job for life. These days you go into a job and you know that you can lose it at any time. So you seek to learn and to become versatile so that when one door closes, another one opens. So I don't believe in a situation where you stick to one job forever. No, there should be avenues for people to move out and try their hands at other things. So yes, jobs may be lost, but others may be created as a result. Because the investor who has come in seeking to establish or build a factory wants to do that at the very least cost. And if he's able to do that and he's convinced that he can set up a business, then the tour guide who lost his business or his job can find a job in the new company that has been established. It will also ease the burden of the bankers, know your customer. You know, when you go to the bank, they require so many things to be able to open an account for you. But with this GPS system, it will be very easy, and I believe it will be built into a nationwide database.
That's what we hope for.
So that we can access. So for me, it has several benefits. It has several benefits.
Thank you very much, Doc. Ricky, your initial thoughts about this? It's taking too long in coming, but it's here finally. Good news?
Yes, I share in the excitement of the project. Particularly, my attention is drawn to the comment about the banks and how they have insisted on house addresses, which are non-existent, and sometimes it's terribly infuriating. So yes, I believe that this is long overdue. It's in the right direction, and I do hope Ghanaians actually put it to proper use. You see, we are in the habit of welcoming things with song and dance and then promptly putting it aside. And while we are on this matter, we should also realize, or at least my initial interaction with it, means that one needs to have an Android phone which has GPS location, etc., etc. What are the plans for, you know, getting every house, even if somebody may sit in Accra and say, oh, it's impossible that there's an entire household without an Android. That is not applicable in the entire country. So maybe are we looking at setting up a special task force that will go from district to district, or that there is a district-based task force that is going to do a mapping so that when they go onto somebody's house, you know, in the light of creating this national database, have you got an Android? No, we do not have an Android. Well, with the aid of an Android, they will specifically give them, the people in the house, so that when they go to the hospital, they go to the clinic, they go to the bank to get Western Union, whatever, then they are able to use it, you know. So I'm excited about it. I think it's
issues of internet connectivity readily come to mind, where because you would need your internet to be able to access the GPS, the locations, longitude, latitude, whichever it is. Are you worried about the internet connectivity and how we're able to maximize the potential of this system?
My brother, in 1988, when I was doing sixth form national service, we managed to map the Katsina-Nankana district with simple compasses.
Right.
If the zeal is there, you will do it. There are things called satellite radios. I mean, satellite phones.
Right.
Now, whether this is going to be the Population Council or whether it's going to be Ministry of Local Government or whoever it comes under, they should be, if there's need, acquire maybe satellite phones and do a very comprehensive, you know, mapping of the various districts. Right. So that if you go to my village, for example, and you go to this house and there is no phone there that has the capability, you get an officer who is coming from the relevant authority, said, okay, I'm going to stand right in front of your house and do the triangulation or whatever it is, and write it down, if people do not mind, on the wall. For those who so that people will immediately get used to it. Look, in the Katsina-Nankana East and West districts, people are using numbering that was done by the Ghana Vitamin A Supplementation Trial, which is now the Nabrongo Health Research Center. So I can sit down here and tell you my house number, and you will not get lost. Now this is written on the walls of the various houses. I remember a while ago when Nas, the journalist, did a documentary on the spirit child. If the gentleman was known to us all, I would have taken him on, because by the housing, the houses which appeared in the documentary were not in the village which name he was using. And I could say that confidently because I was one of the initial staff who did the mapping of that area. So to cut a long story short, yes, there's connectivity problems, but we have satellite radios and satellite phones, and these can be used. Rather than allow people to individually decide what their house number is. There should be a concerted, organized way of doing it, so that the district has it, and from the district the region has it, and from the region then the national.
Thank you very much.
And while we are at it,
yeah,
we should do something about the human being identification as well.
Okay. I understand that this will be a base for assessing the passport office to be able to get it, and the national identification card as well. So let's see how it goes. Early days yet, but that's what the president at least mentioned yesterday in his speech. So you can join us 0508235228. That's our WhatsApp line. Also on Twitter and on Facebook at TV3 Ghana. Join us. Let's get to read your thoughts and comments and share them with our friends around the world. Page 17 of the Ghanaian Times says gas shortage looms as distributors shut down outlets. Now, there's an imminent scarcity of liquefied petroleum gas in the country as retailers and transporters of the product yesterday halted their operations. Nanekia Mensah Brapa, reporter, went out there. There were some of the outlets that were still distributing, but largely most of them, were not. And it comes right in the back of the Atomic Junction gas explosion, the 9-pointer by Cabinet, and the caveat that, well, they should all hold on and let's do a risk assessment to find out. But then we're also looking at how homes and restaurants and other places that need this commodity will fare without them. Doc?
Yeah, it's a very difficult situation. We need to ensure the safety of the citizenry. And therefore, yes, soon after that event, the regulatory agencies, EPA, MPA, have been going around inspecting and insisting that some stations are not up to standard, and therefore they are asking them to shut down. Yes, it's a good thing to forestall future unfortunate deaths like what we saw 2 weeks ago. However, it's also going to create a problem. And I think over the years, we have encouraged the citizenry to shift from firewood to the use of gas. Now it's caught on with them, and all of a sudden we are making it difficult for them to have access to gas. So yes, it's a good thing, it's a good exercise. People are shutting down, but we should hasten rather slowly for people to adjust. You see, I believe in change, but the change should be incremental, it should be gradual, rather than a massive change that will disturb total stability of society. So yes, let us do it, but do it slowly so that you don't create problems, you don't create bottlenecks, you don't create, if you get used to a particular way of doing things and all of a sudden you are asked to stop and then adopt a new approach, it becomes difficult. So regulators, we agree with you, are doing the right thing for the benefit of all of us, but go slowly so that we adjust gradually. Yes, that's what I'll say for
Ricky,
now.
somebody is waking up now to their duty. What do you say to that? We didn't have this. The regulations say we must have regular checks to ensure that everybody is safe. We didn't have that, a lot of that, which is why in less than 3 years we've had more than 9 explosions already. Now, it says ceasefire, hold on, let's do the audit. But we're looking at the after effects as well. What do you say?
My brother, it's very easy to find somebody and heap all the blame and culpability on the person. The question I always ask is, yes, there is the EPA, which is supposed to do the monitoring and auditing, and the MPA, etc. But these are human beings who are operating these things. These are human beings who work in these places. There are human beings who live in the vicinity of these facilities. So we have all collectively dropped the ball. We have sat down while unscrupulous people have come into settlements, human settlements, and have set up these things and proceeded not to put in the appropriate measures.
They get permits from the
EPA,
EPA,
hold on.
the
My
local
brother,
authorities.
If we are going to say that they have gotten a permit, and for that matter, your house is located there and you do not make the necessary noises and ensure that the necessary monitoring is done, then we are leaving our lives in the hands of a few people. Listen, I'm sorry I'm going to bring this in a way, But there's been some recent brouhaha about the number of cars that are in the vice president's convoy.
Right.
Listen, there's national what do you call protocol,
Right.
a state protocol department. There are people in charge of the security of the vice president. These are all people who are being paid by the national kitty. I do not think that, and I will be very surprised if Vice President Bawumia gets up and says, oh, today I feel like having 20 cars in my convoy. He will not do such a thing. It must be informed by the assessment of the security detail, where they are going. I am completely appalled by the long snake-like convoys that interrupt people's journeys. But we cannot crucify the vice president. There's state protocol department, there is the security couples, etc. But that's beside the point. The point I simply want to establish is, yes, there is EPA. But my brother, if you have your house and you realize that somebody is setting up a gas station, I think it's within your rights to go and find out or do a cross-check whether the person has the right.
I'll give you a classic example of something that happened around Pambros. We did that story on Community Connect. I did that. There were 2 filling stations and they had sandwiched somebody's home. So he brought it to us, a certain Kwekun Nkrumah, he brought it to us, we dealt with it. We went to the fire service and we were told that he had permit, the EPA had permit, Gasalt, he had permit.
Did he have a permit to put his house there?
The gentleman's home was there before the filling stations came. And the filling stations...
That does not matter. It depends on the zoning of the town. I just wanted to be sure.
We're told there's a mixed zoning area.
Right.
So that's the problem. You're told it's a mixed zone and that the UPSC students are up in arms with Cell Oil. We did that story last year as well. The local assembly told us, the MPA told us, the EPA fire service, that it's a mixed zone area and that the gentleman had satisfied all the requirements. And so he has to be there. The students are up in arms with him.
My quick comment. First of all, we are too much interested in what I call grammar. The person has got all the certification. But our track record with certified places is not the best. So we should stop talking about legalities and look at the human beings. So that assembly which is coming out, look, my brother, this thing is human beings. How do people get certification? You and I don't want to be caught on record saying it. But
you need to tell me.
My brother, I have sat on this same platform and I've told you there's a legendary doctor in Abrongo who actually gave his urine to the laboratory, and it turned out that the laboratory assistant came back and said he was pregnant and the doctor was a man. We've also sat in this country where, with all respect to our handicapped brothers, somebody who was a cripple actually managed to get a driving license. Right. Not as if they cannot drive, but they drive with specified cars. So if we are going to rely on our certification process, and my brother, go to the licensing place. I doubt you and I have actually gone through any rigorous medical checkup we need to normally have, I mean, especially for our site.
Right.
So the possession of a certificate is not a guarantee of proper conduct. So I'm happy that the UPSA students are up. I don't know about the in arms. I am happy that Mr. Nkrumah is making a point. And we should stop making human beings, the citizens of this country, incidental to politics. I have said, and I will continue to repeat, that the politicians and the policy makers of this country consider us as only mere statistics that come up to constitute their constituency. Other than that, we are collateral damage. That is sad. And it's about time we stood up and asserted our rights. As for this gas thing, my brother, once upon a time, even though I was young, there was a gentleman called Chairman Rollins who said, let's tighten our belts. We can survive with fewer places of getting gas for maybe a foreseeable 2-3 weeks, as long as people are doing things properly. And maybe we should just go out and have a kind of advisory. Station A, B, C, D are under repair, so if you are in this area, you can get gas from this place and this place. So people can go over there. But anything that needs to be done well. But as for this business about certification, etc., please, let's doubly check and make sure. Look, we have people who have got fake passports. We have people who have got fake ID cards. We have got many cases of fake degrees. So what about fake certification?
Doc, you want to have a bite on this one? Yeah.
Coming back to the enforcement of the rules. EP or the regulatory agencies going around.
Right.
My fear is that they are going to cause the public to do panic buying of gas, and that will increase. I mean, automatically.
How exactly do you mean?
I mean, people think that we're going to run out of gas, so
Right.
if they have cylinders quickly, they're going
going
to
to fill them.
all of them, and that so then demand will increase, supply may fall short, and therefore prices
will go up.
So
Right.
I worry about that, particularly for the ordinary man in the community. I also worry about the fact that some people have invested heavily in some of these businesses,
Right.
and if all of a sudden we ask them to stop, you know what, they have taken loans and overdrafts, they are going to suffer a loss there as well. And investment, people may not want to go into that investment anymore because then it's risky. And funny, my bite on this is that the regulatory agencies, we have so many of them. If you want to set up a business, you can have as many as 8 of them coming to you for some kind of permit. Fire service will come, the environmental health, whatever.
Environmental protection will come.
Environmental protection will come.
National Petroleum Authority will come.
So many of them. My question is, do they coordinate at a certain level? Is there any coordination? Otherwise, you are running around trying to satisfy every requirement, and by the time you finish, you are exhausted. It's very frustrating doing business at times, because the district assembly is coming at you, fire service is coming at you, environmental health, something, EPA is coming, MPA, all manner, standard boards, food, and I worry about this for going forward, because then doing business, private business, becomes very frustrating. And we are out there to create jobs, but if it's so frustrating, then you can't make any move. So that's
To the extent that their businesses affect people sometimes negatively, because all the explosions that have happened, I doubt that the owners of those places themselves lost their lives.
No.
But people have lost their lives because of negligence of duty on their part. Okay? People have lost their property, people have been injured, breadwinners, whatever it is. So can we then on that score say that yes, you have an investment, but you are being a nuisance to society? Okay. So we must put you in check. Can we do that?
Sure. Well, we should be able to do that. All I'm saying is that there should be a one-stop kind of shop, okay? We have too many agencies dealing with the same matter of safety and security of persons. For instance, if you are putting up a house, you require a permit from the district assembly or the assembly.
Right, the district assembly, right.
That's right. And I thought at the district assembly, all these agencies will be represented there so that you can get it at one point, rather than going to fire service, another time going to health, environmental health and something, another time going to EPA. I mean, it's
in fact,
too much.
they do have a board where all these institutions are represented.
Right.
But I like the question you asked as to whether there's a bit of coordination at some point.
That's it.
Because this situation I told you about at the Pambros area, they had certified for them to have the tankers installed at a certain point. Now here's a situation where they had dug under the gentleman's house and a certain extension of the tank had gone there.
To his property.
And clearly.
Yeah,
Ricky, finally on this one.
First of all, I'm enthused about what Doc has said. The multiplicity of agencies. What that means is that usually the average legitimate, genuine businessman does not get to satisfy all of these. So it's the big man. My brother, whether you've heard it or not, it's in the grapevine. The majority of the filling stations and fuel stations in this country belong to members of parliament and government officials, both most likely in the previous governments. Somebody tell me it's wrong. But the point I'm simply establishing is that the people that have the means to set up these businesses are invariably aware of the risks involved. I do not want to keep on hammering this. The point is people do not have value. They don't place value on their neighbor. Otherwise, why would you go and set up something and live 10 miles away from it? Why would you go and... It's all over. You find some perfunctory, assembly point, some gas cylinder which has, the last time it was checked, was probably 1.5 years ago or something. We do not have... we do not place value on the citizen. You see, secondly, if you are talking about a one-stop shop, my question is, that will be convenient. Then you can just bribe 1 or 2 people and that's all right.
Is it all about bribing?
My brother, that is about Ghana. Tell me what you can get today legitimately without proferring a smile or calling on your, oh, it looks like you and I, we went to the same school. Oh, do you go to this church? Oh, people have been reduced to leverage upon other things to access things that are ordinarily their entitlement. So when we're talking of corruption, we shouldn't just be thinking of the exchange of money. You know, here am I sitting with you and I'm hoping that you give me your 20 years anniversary pin. And by the time we finish this program, I'm going to tell you that your uncle is my friend, so I'm hoping that you respect me and give me that pin. That's corruption. I'm blackmailing you. The point I'm simply stating here is we have to have a revolution of sorts. And we have become allergic to the term revolution because of our interesting past. But we need to start thinking of our neighbor, not because we go to church on Sunday or the mosque on Friday or wherever on Saturday. It's just because we need to know that that's another person who is being affected by these things. You know, I mean, while we are talking of gas, we need to at least mention that there are rumblings that there's supposed to be one distributor of gas. It was
exactly, a centralized point.
A centralized.
We have all the cylinders.
Yeah. I still haven't.
Is it a solution to the problem?
You see, those of you who are more avant-garde in politics will probably tell you that is counter-purpose to free market. I don't know whether free market is exactly the cure-all of all of our ailments. But I have problems with centralized issues. We have a centralized government which is not extending to my village. We have centralized SNIT system, which means that if you're on retirement from my village, you'll have to come and probably lie at pension house on the pavement until you die of pneumonia. I have a problem with centralized systems. So,
but it's worked elsewhere. Can't it work here?
Elsewhere, it's their psyche that is different. We should stop this excitement about comparing ourselves with elsewhere. Unfortunately, it's not because their IQ is higher, it's just because of their socialization. This morning I had a problem with the taxi driver. I told him, you will come and pick me 30 minutes to 6 o'clock. If you have any difficulty in getting to me, or you think that you cannot make it, give me a call. The gentleman turned up at 6:05 without an apology. Elsewhere, I wouldn't have even needed to have that arrangement. There would have been a taxi service available. There would have been a bus service available. It's our mentality. You go to a lecture room, a lecturer comes late. They don't bother to apologize to you. It is our mentality. So if you are saying centralized system, my brother, even when you go to ministries where you are going to do something to create a business, somebody tells you, my brother, you have to add something to this file. And they are not apologetic about it. So I'm just afraid that one day, when you give all this distribution network, and it's going to come with political ping pong, who is going to win that contract eventually? Is there going to be due process? Is it going to be openly bid? There are too many problems that are involved.
Okay, Ricky, I thank you. Doc.
Just to add a little bit, in all this, whether the regulators will do what is expected of them or not, we need to do a lot of education. Gas is a good servant, but a very bad master. You know, a lot of our people are illiterate in the villages, and the use of gas has caught on with them, and so they are all buying small gas cylinders and all that. But what level of education have we given them? How do we turn it on? How do we turn it off? How do we ensure that the gas cylinder is in a safe place in the house? I hear when you leave a gas cylinder in the open during the day and the sun shines on it, with time the gas expands or something and it can explode. I didn't know that until I met a lady quite recently. She says, no, the way you use gas in this country is just too dangerous. You know, I don't know when you get to the stage when you build, then they kind of pipe it so that you can have. I don't know
from a centralized point.
Absolutely.
Ricky has a problem with that, obviously. But let me quickly get your thoughts on this, maybe 1 minute. You go to the gas filling stations and you find the attendants themselves rolling the cylinder, even when it's been filled with gas, rolling, tossing it up and down. The scientists tell us it's dangerous. And these are the people who are supposed to know better and do better. So if I go there and they are tossing it around, if I have no idea about it, when I come home, I would also do the same thing. And that's it. Anyway.
So they have to set a better standard for us to kind of copy.
And make sure that kebab sellers are not selling by our gas, so that we don't get up and then make a very belated attempt to blame some illiterate kebab seller. If you have spent millions of dollars to set up this place, this business, and you do not have the presence of mind to ensure that there's no kebab seller. Granted that even was anything to go by. But it was a complete embarrassment that we, Ghana, were about to blame, most likely, an illiterate man who probably has no idea about the workings of gas. So we need to go further than just legislation and blaming
teaching gas sellers. Okay.
No, but you know that in some homes, I mean compound houses, the cylinders and the burners are kept in bedrooms and sitting rooms.
Exactly.
That's where they cook.
They are.
You know, so monies must be set aside for intensive education on the use of gas to ensure that this unfortunate...
Doctor, I don't know where you get that optimism from. Education.
No? Yes, teach them.
Who? Look, I've sat here again and I've said we have got one elaborate organization under the partial directorship of a good friend of mine, NCCE. They've been around for so long. There's so many things. We have spoken about people not being aware of their rights under the Constitution. We have spoken about so many other issues that are supposed... But these same organizations are poorly financed. And even if there is allocation of money, my brother, this money gets paid to officers, per diems, and out-of-stations allowances, and it does not really go to the education of the people.
We'll get into that conversation sometime. Or let's get to read your thoughts. 050-823-5223. This is the news review segment on the New Day show. Let's turn our attention now to page 4 of the Independent newspaper. And it talks about the Volta region angry and set to demonstrate about bad Eastern Corridor Road. The project has obviously stalled. I've heard about 2 campaign messages from 2012, 2016, talking about the Eastern Corridor Road. And now the people say they are tired because what they have are actually fish pond and manholes in the road. It brings us to the question to ask, okay, we start a project. A typical example would be the Teshi Link Road by the Kofi Annan Training Center all the way to Manette. It's been there for 10 solid years. I remember how people's homes were collapsed or demolished to make way for the road. 10 years. And we're not able to do it. The painful aspect is where they lay the road and then it's just left with asphalt and then they abandon it. I don't know, Doc. What can we do?
Well, it's a question of finding the funds and making sure that the funds are available at the right time so that we pay the contractors as they go. You see, contractors take a lot of loans from banks. You know, you are talking about 34% on a loan. To construct. So at times they pre-finance. It gets to a point they are asking for money from government. The money is not forthcoming because the kitty is dry. And so everything comes to an end. And then they pack their equipment and leave the site. I think we do not think through some of these projects very well. We must do a thorough study of what it entails to construct a road all the way from, is it Huawei, through to Guanta and beyond. How much is this going to cost us? What is the source of funding? What the cash flow when we need it? Otherwise, we start, and then halfway through, we realize that it's such a Herculean task, we cannot, and therefore, we wait, and at times we even pray that our term comes to an end, and then we hand the problem, we pass the problem on to the incoming government. Because this project started under His Excellency President Kufuor.
Right.
Yes. Then it's seen 8 years of His Excellency President Mahama, and now Nana Akufo-Addo has come. We are still talking about the Eastern Corridor. I don't know. The benefits are so many, but we don't seem to be committing ourselves to that project. Because somebody tells me that traveling from Accra to Tamale takes like 7 hours. But if you use I'm assuming the Eastern Corridor
it's working.
Less than 5 hours, you should be able to get to Bimbila, Tamale, you know. So for me, it's a good idea, massive idea that we should all hail, but then we should also commit funds and commit our whole...
Why are we unable to commit funds? Because we hear of the budget statements, they're read in Parliament, we're told how much has been earmarked for whatever it is. Why are we unable?
You see, my brother, I don't know why we are. Let me borrow my good friend Dr. Tony Edu's word, pussyfooting around this matter, and I use it in the positive sense.
Right.
The politicians have disappointed us yet again. I'm surprised that today, in 2017, we are now advocating that we should do a comprehensive study to know the cost, ensure that the funds are available. Government after government have told us how ready they are to make sure that the Eastern Corridor Road. In fact, I think if my memory serves me right, there was even a time I was under the impression that it had been fully constructed. Look, let me give you an example. Politicians and policy makers are the problem of this country. My own village road, I've been saying it, I'm almost half a century old, and I'm yet to see asphalt on my village road. Member of parliament after member of parliament, government after presidential, everybody comes and they make a promise. And then the last person who was given the contract was actually a party regional chairman who decided to do nothing about it. Now, is it for lack of funds? Is it because bank interest rates are 34%? If you have the plans to do a road, you should have done your calculation. If I take a loan at 34%, will I be able to do it at the designated time and still make a little bit of, or at least break even?
Genuinely, sometimes the contract sum are not paid.
Yes, my brother. Why are the contract sums not paid? They are not paid because somebody wants his palms to be lubricated in order for them to sign a check. Way back in 1986, when my late father, may so rest in peace, was chief director of a ministry, there were people who were coming to that place to his office with pickup loads of yam, and he was like, "I'm not running. I'm not running a chopper. Why are you bringing a pickup load of yam to my house?" And he was sending them away, and and people were like, "This man is this type of civil servant. He will not last." But that is the point I'm making here. The budgets make allowance for it. Contractors are selected under very, hazy conditions. You don't know whether they even have it or not. There are cases where contractors do not have wheelbarrows but have been given long stretches of roads. We are not serious. And we are taking people for granted. I've said this. This will be the third time this morning. It shouldn't be the people of Volta region having to rise up. This place is leading to the north. So are we now waiting for the north to rise up and Volta region to rise up before a very sensible project like this? So if the West African Highway had not, that initiative under President Rawlings had not taken place, we would have still had to spend 18 hours from Bolga to get to Accra. I am calling on the president, and I have said on several occasions, President Nana Addo has the golden opportunity to write his name in history, and he doesn't need to do nuclear physics. He just needs to get the people to do the things that are long overdue. I'm happy about the addressing system. I'm hoping the national identification system will come to play. It looks like the free education has started, even though faltering, but hey, at least small. Let us get people doing the work for which they are paid.
Okay.
Don't let us have to revisit this matter next year.
So, sometimes I get the indication, Ricky, that the local authorities are handicapped. So the deals are signed at the ministry, and then it comes to the local
centralized
authority
matters. That's what I told you.
To come and implement the issues. And so they can't make demands of the contractors.
Because the contractors are not only taken from above, but they have links to politicians. Believe me, they have links. They are almost untouchable. Who are you to go when the member of parliament comes and he's seen hobnobbing with this contractor, and most likely while the road is just being paved, a house is being built for the relevant minister or the relevant MP in that place? My brother, you should take a break from this place and go into this country and see the way, I see. Yeah, you see the way people are treating us Ghanaians as inconsequential. Look, there is a case, a very graphic case of a dam that was supposed to be done in my village. If I tell you the story, you will not believe it. That the contract was awarded by the member of parliament to himself, and I mean, it's
to himself.
Serious. Who are you? In what capacity do you go to challenge this person? So I am happy that the people of Volta region are angry. I'm hoping that it's going to reap some dividends. But sincerely speaking, I have said before that if any regime should be able to lay a rail line from Accra to Paga, I will come out publicly and address the nation, even from the privacy of my room, and tell all my descendants and my descendants to follow that party.
Well, the MPP has promised that.
That is not the first time it's been promised.
I'm throwing
that challenge again. I will even invoke the God of Abraham to make sure that my descendants and my descendants will follow that pattern.
Ricky Kasisepim. Doc, have a final bite on this one. Let's take some messages from our viewers.
It looks as if at times we set up a project and have all the good intentions and motives to complete, but we depend on the national kitty, the consolidated fund. And so if the inflows are small, then we cannot...
Is it a breakdown of our local government structure? Is it a breakdown? Is that the indication you get where the local government is supposed to go around, take property rates, generate their own funds, tolls and everything else, and yet they are not able to do some of these things? They go still demanding from the national kitty. Is it a breakdown of our local government structure?
I do not really know, but I get a sense. You know, I come from Ekwapim, and as a young person growing up, I lived in Kofodia, and we traveled through Adoso to Ekropon so very often. And Adoso was a huge market center with GB Olivant and all manner of. And there in those days, you follow your mother to the market, you were stopped, and they gave her a ticket, and she paid some rate. I don't know what rate it was. Toll. Yes. And it was working fine. And so you could see that the local area, the district, could do certain things on their own. These days, it doesn't happen. I don't know whether we are insisting on collecting tolls from market women and that kind of thing anymore. Because it was a good source of money for basic developmental needs, patching of roads, I mean, you know, and taking care of the community in terms of even electricity supply, water supply, and all that. Yeah. I don't know whether it's still working. I'm not sure. Is it working?
Just a quick one. A very good friend of mine who was living in the States came. He's built a beautiful house, and he goes to pay the property rate. And the guy comes and says, Kasisi, are these people serious? They've asked me to pay like 500 cedis as property rate on my... That's disrespectful of my house. You know. So this is somebody...
They couldn't evaluate it properly.
And he had actually gone and asked them, look, I know I'm supposed to pay property rate. In fact, he had built a house and went out for a couple of years and came back and said, look, calculate it so that I'll pay in arrears. And he's like, 500? He's like, what? And he even had to pay the officers to come to his house. And of course, when he was, and assess it. At the end of the day, he said something like it was 500 cedis. And it's like, what? That's disrespectful of his house, because he was hoping that if a proper assessment was done, and on the basis of that he paid his property rate, that he could actually use that as a collateral of some sort. In other jurisdictions, people can get a value of your house from the property rate that you are paying. And now here he is paying 500 cedis as property rate. Quickly, you go and collect a student loan, you go to SNIT, you want to pay them, and they're like, no, the records are not there. They expect you to tip them, so that they'll go to the archives and find your file to bring it to you to pay the loan.
Doc.
You know, there were other sources of funding. For instance, those that we call tankers.
Right.
They were the
town
council
officers. Sanitary officers.
Yeah, they came around, inspected our barrels, our toilets, and the slightest thing, we were issued with some summons, we went to court, and we paid some money. I believe those monies went to the district, and those monies could be used for development. But they have stopped all those things. I don't see it happening anymore.
Let's say good morning to all our DCs. 216 of you put in office. I just hope that when you tell your husbands and wives and your children that you're going to work, you actually go to work for us. Let's read some of your messages here on on WhatsApp. A few of your messages that you have sent to us, and we will perhaps wrap up the conversation. So this is it. This is the bad nature of the road. Somebody sent us this from the Volta region. They want us to know what is happening around them. Okay. Here we go. And you can also send us your messages. Send us a lot more of your messages. We are big on your comments. What do you expect from the president and the kind of people he appoints when he had made it clear that his appointments are based on those who would collaborate with him? Asanko and Santa Maria is asking. My name is Jagos and so on. I think the introduction of the digital address system in the country is very important because now the world is moving to digital systems. So bravo to the president for introducing the system in this country. Bonti Benjamin Achime Boako says the new digital address system will make a lot of things function in our society without much ado. Ghana is indeed working. AU Farouk in Tamale says the abuse of power under the government is becoming worrisome. Every now and then, proceed on leave is the order of the day. Allah save Ghana. Good morning, TV3 New Day. Polythene bags should be banned, but I believe other measures should need to be put in place. Those engaged in polythene bags production should be assisted by the government to switch into paper bag production so jobs are not lost. Radical punishments meted out to those who flout government directives on the ban should be enforced. The citizenry should also be humane enough to put those polythene bags in bins after use, while the Zoom lions do the needful on timely basis. The ban is possible if above and other factors are considered. Kwesi Kwatim, Community 25. Thank you very much for that. Good morning, TV3. The former CID boss thinks that he's not happy about his dismissal. He should resort to court action to gain his position. From David in Tamale. David is due for retirement in January 2018. The use of polythene bags is seriously polluting our country. Not only that, but also killing us slowly, if our doctors in Ghana will say or speak the truth. Ghana, good morning, Johnny. Plastic bags should be completely banned because it's causing a lot of filth around, and I think we should go back to the era of paper bags and brown paper like the cement bags during the former days. Ghana, 60 years on now, we must change our lifestyle for progress. Ajwa, thank you. Good morning, TV3. In fact, it's absolutely true. These plastic bags have become a nuisance. But then from the look of things, I don't see Ghana going the Kenyan way. Stop using the stopping the usage of plastic bags, to me, will not be possible. But we can put waste containers by the roadside and educate the people to use them. With time, we'll get used to it. Monica in Navrungo. Well, Monica, we put some up. I remember in 2001, President Kufuor came. He put some yellow bins up, he picked bins, and we don't know where they all went. There's one filling station ongoing in the midst of houses in Pelungo in Nabdam district. The assembly tried stopping them since 2015, but works are still ongoing, up to date. We should know the innocent people's lives are in danger. Bokri from Nabdam. Well noted. We'll follow up on this and then we'll get back to you. Good morning. Well, this is Johnny, not Bright. Why can't the government give a standard number to all houses in the country using the Metropolitan District Council, which will be picked up by the digital system? Chris Mensa wants to know. TV3 New Day. Good morning. The digital address system, which the president launched yesterday, couldn't have been possible if the previous NDC government had not carried out the street naming in many parts of the country. This is because the identification of a particular place is made complicated in the absence of a street or proper name. MPP must give credit to NDC. Baba Musa. Teacher Kujo in Tuabodom Adanta says, why is the NDC MPs running away on the Ameri deal? This shows clearly that there was corruption in this deal when the NDC was in power on the Ameri deal. That is why they boycotted the committee hearing over the price of the Ameri deal. What a disgrace to you, NDC. Corrupt NDC people, forget yourself in the 2020 election because Ghanaians will never vote for you. Thank you very much, Alaji. And finally, this is the current state of the abandoned road construction from Hohoi to Jazikan. It's part of the Eastern Corridor Road. We're calling on the government as a matter of urgency to tackle this part of the Eastern Corridor Road now. Nuruddini from Jazikan. Well, so that's it. Taxis and even trucks are stuck right there in the mud. You can see them on your screens. Very embarrassing. Look at it. And that's a highly inflammable tanker. That's oh man, this is definitely not good. How many cars? 4 vehicles in a row stuck, and on the rivers you have another 4. God help us. Well, Mr. Kasisi, I always enjoy listening to your comments. Very interesting and intelligent. We need thinkers like you. Ajwa says so. Good morning, TV3. I hope now the Abosuka spare parts dealers will know what politics is all about. They don't see anything yet. Ismaila Horoya Ali in Yema. We're told that, well, spare parts prices haven't reduced since the announcement in Parliament. But check it out. This is it. This is how embarrassing our situation is. This is the Eastern Corridor Road. This is it. This is it. 21st century Ghana. Let's wrap up this session, gentlemen. So earlier we spoke about the ban on plastics, and I want your quick take on that. Kigali has shown the example. Kenya has shown the example. We spoke about it after the June 3 disaster. We spoke plenty English. Polluter pay policy, producer pay policy, blah, blah, blah. We're back to square one. What can we do?
Well,
can we ban it?
Yeah, where have we come from? Where have we got into? And going forward, what do you have to do? When I was a kid, they were using leaves in buying wache and rice and all that.
Right.
Then with time, we became more sophisticated and more civilized in quotes, and so moved on to paper bags. Now, down the road, we also moved to plastics, and we thought it was a neater way of managing, waste. It's becoming a big menace to all of us. Gutters are getting choked, rivers are dying naturally as a result of, the pollution. So for me, the way out is to ban the use of polythene. Because I hear
do we have the willpower?
That's the thing. But I hear it takes like 15 years or something for it to
decompose.
Yeah,
400 actually.
Oh, is it 400
yes,
years?
400. That's what.
So forever is there stuck.
Yes, it's there.
So for me, we should be bold enough. If Kenya has been able to do it, and Rwanda has been able to, why not Ghana? We should be able to do it in West Africa and set the pace for others to follow.
Ricky, are we confident enough to ban plastics?
Going by the zeal of President Nana with the Galamsey, I believe that if he applies himself to it, he can do it. In fact, all the governments that have been around since I've been around this country have had the ability to do it. And they, for some reason, they have not considered it as important in the general scheme of things. So, is there a need? Yes. Rwanda is now a case that people are praising around, but when you turn the leaf, they will tell you that Paul Kagame is a dictator. Sometimes I don't know whether dictators are entirely condemnable. But to answer your question, going by this picture, the need has been there for us to do something about it. We should go about doing it now. I have said in private that I am allergic to democracy when it especially comes to some of these things. But believe me, if we are supposed to send a bill to Parliament, you will be a grandfather before it is passed. So somebody has to take the bull by the horns.
Right.
And an executive, I don't know, do we have an executive, the way Donald Trump has been signing by heart, do we have them? If we have them, Nana Akufo-Addo should go ahead and sign one in now this morning and say, look, they should stop between now and December polythene production, and starting from 2018, people should be using paper.
So this is my new project that I'm pushing now, and just to run by you, an old project that we pushed. This is by the La Main Road, if you know the Omanyi Arts Gallery, driving towards La Palme. This used to be there, and it was a sorry sight. So we took it up and as a project, and then we got them to fix it to this level. Great. So this is what it looks like now. And now they can even use this as an advertising space. I told the MC that this is it. You can use this and have some people paint. So the rubbish is behind it. and you can't see it anymore. And so this is the new project we are picking up, and this is right on the beach. So the fisher folks will go out there and they won't catch real fish or harvest real fish. They'll just bring home plastic. Wasted effort, wasted subsidized premix fuel, everything else. So the ban is imminent. We must ban it now. But I thank you very much, Ricky Kasisepipra. And I thank you also, Dr. Kwapon, for your time this morning. Have a great time, and I hope I didn't spoil your morning with this picture.
Not at all. We are all committed to having a.
You want to say something?
Ghana, we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. But let's start from the districts. If every district made sure that they banned it because they have the right to do bylaws, maybe that's the way to go.
But
that's the way.
Didn't you have CSIR all these years? Couldn't they see into the future and tell us that when we move into plastic, eventually
they are gathering dust.
The reports are gathering dust, I guess. Well, my name is Johnny Hughes. Up next is sports here on NewDay. We're going all the way to 9 a.m. Stay with us. There's more to come.
Right, welcome back from that break. This is the NewDay here on TV3. My name is Yao Ovosulabi. Let's go on now to our first story. Now, this was supposed to be the crowning moment for the Ghana Premier League, a league supposedly so competitive that nothing is decided till the final day. Aduana Stars only won the title last week, and on the final weekend, there are at least 5 clubs in danger of getting relegated with 2 slots at stake. But the build-up has been marred by arrests over betting concerns and allegations of bribery and match fixing.
The high stakes has led to high maneuvers according to club owners and coaches. Tema youth coach says things are so bad, nothing a coach does really matters. Then there is the fear that betting could wreck the games. Fears are growing that there are betting syndicates conniving with club officials, players and coaches in organizing these corrupt practices. Accra Folk Operations Manager Joshua Akwa was arrested in connection with an alleged match-fixing investigation and was later released. Communications Director of the Ghana Football Association says the FA have not been informed or invited to play any role in the matter, but as organizers of the league, they are following the story keenly.
Officially, we've not been notified in writing, but as a responsible organization, we followed media report, and we ourselves want to be engaged in the matter to get to the bottom of the issue, what the details are in sort of it. Whilst the police also undertake their investigations, we'll also be interested in knowing the details of the case. And if there are any actions or any action we have to take, we'll be swift in dealing with it in that light.
Another issue the GFA is keeping an eye on is allegations of match fixing, bribes to referees and other accusations from football administrators. The vice chairman of the Ghana Referees Association, Joe Debra, insists the GFA are not biting enough when these allegations are made.
By now, the FA Ethics Committee should have called some people before them. But I'm surprised some people were not called. Like what one Mr. Gado said, what I've heard Mr. Indum too have said, and the rest all. All those people should have been called upon, because we are 1,000% sure that anybody who complains that referees collect bribes is also a bribe giver. If you have not given some before, how do you know and how do you say referees collect bribes? So I think those people who have gone on there that referees have been collecting bribes and the rest, I am surprised the FA sit down without inviting any of us.
Those allegations and betting arrest threatens the credibility and integrity of the Ghana League, but the GFA is confident it has it under control.
We had a seminar for clubs at the Institute of Professional Studies in the top 2 tiers of Ghana football, and I warned them about the dangers of these things in football, and it's not an issue to the preserve of Ghana football alone. So as a preemptive measure, we had a course with the clubs about it.
But let's go on to some boxing news now, because on Saturday is a no-title cruiserweight fight between Brahma Kamoko, aka Bukom Banku, and Basti Samer there at the Bukom Boxing Arena. And there's been a lot of talk of town lately, and quite a number of people are excited about the bout already. These are long-time foes who are facing off this time on Saturday at the Bukom Boxing Arena. I have here with me Brahma Kamoko himself, aka Bukom Banku, who's here to discuss the fights and how ready he is for it. Banku, you're welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
I mean, how are you, limbering up for this fight? How's the training been for you?
By 5 months ago, I'm training hard because I want to stop this guy. The way he's shouting, all the Ghanaians know that he'll be small bosser for me. Well, I'm training hard to come and stop Basti Rancis. I'm ready for this fight because the time he challenged me, I'm not ready. What the Ghanaians say, I fear this guy, but I want to prove the Ghanaians that he'll be small bosser for me. I'm the African Mayweather. Yes, well, I'll stop Basti Rancis. I'm training hard. I want everybody to come and see Rare Banku.
Now, Banku, I mean, we've heard reports that, you've lost weight and you might not make the weight, range for the cruiserweight, level. How do you know that you'll be able to make the weight?
People, they talk like that, but I have my coach. I don't have any problem with the weight. I'm not losing any weight. I'm a crucial weight bosser. It's my weight. It's my weight. I'm training to make fit. That one, the people they see me that I lose weight. I don't lose any weight. I'm strong. I'm strong. I want you to come there to come and see that Bukom Banku lose weight or you put weight. I'll stop Basti Rancis. The way he's shouting, Ghanaians know that maybe I can't feed this guy. He'll be small bosser for me. Yeah, I'll teach him and discipline and kill him in the ringside.
You go kill him?
This man, he can't pass. I prepare myself everywhere. I prepare myself front and back. Yeah.
Now let's look at this one. I mean, a lot of people have also said that you've lost some of your fans to Basti because you guys are all in the Bukom area, and Basti is quite a popular guy there. I mean, what do you make of that as well? I mean, your fans have moved to the other side.
I'm not losing my fans. The way you go, some people they come. If you don't like me, people also like me. I know some people, the time I'm going to fight with Haiti powers, they go me against. Right now, they are my supporters. Well, if somebody support me, go to the Baptist, they make the fight like a politics. Well, I don't care. Master, I'm an NDC member. If you are MPP, Mama, I don't care about this fight. This fight did not be politics. I want all the Ghanaians that come and see this fight. Yes, there are people there for MPP. I'm an NDC. Well, if you listen to me, it's not be politics. I'm not talking about the politics. I'm telling you that they are MPP people. I'm an NDC. Or they do the thing like a politics. But boss, it no be politics. It be blow. I invite all the ministers and the former ministers and Nana Akufo-Addo, Mr. Excellent, and President Mama come and watch this fight. It no be politics. I will stop Basti Rancis. If somebody don't like Buko, you can go. If somebody like me, come and support me. I'm ready for this fight.
But how do you feel? How do you feel? I mean, how do you feel for Saturday? Are you fit already?
I'm 2 months fit. I'm not sit down. When I play the bell, I'm not sit down. I'll stand to face that guy because the way the people they talk in the nation, I'll put everybody wrong. Master, it be small bosser. Master, it be small bosser. I tell you. I swear with my God, I will stop Basti Samer.
Well, thank you very much.
I'm training hard.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now you heard Brahma Kamoko himself, the man Bukom Banku says he's ready to stop Basti Samer on Saturday. That fight will be at the Bukom Boxing Arena. But that's how we end New Day Sports here, right here on TV3. My name is Yao Fusulabi. There's more sports later on the Midday News and also on News 360. Stay with us here. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. It's time to delve into a very sensitive topic for discussion. We're talking about pregnancy losses and how it affects relationships. Of course, the people out there you may know, or you yourself may have lost a pregnancy. How is it affecting your relationship? Of course, you can get in touch with us via our social media platform as we discuss this. But joining me to discuss it in studio, I have Mrs. Baba Kofi. She's a PR consultant at Mahogany Consult, and she's a lecturer at University of Wisconsin, yes. And then Mrs. Bertha Medo, she's also a retired educationist. Good morning, women.
Good morning.
And welcome to New Day.
Thank you.
So yes, Baba, let's just delve right into it. When you talk about pregnancy losses and its effect on relationships, I'm sure you are a PR consultant and you do very well with talking about pregnancy. Tell me a little more about what inspired you to even go on this tangent and what is it at all?
Okay, so I have a personal experience. I lost my first child. And it was a very difficult time for me. Not just for me, but for my husband, for my family. And after that, I met so many other women, so many other families who were going through similar issues. And some of the issues are so terrible that I decided to do something about it. And so I started a project that I call Live, Move and Have Your Being, to help families, to help women and men who are going through issues of pregnancy, issues of fertility, to empower them. Some of these issues are medical, others are psychological, others are even spiritual, or a combination of these three. Yeah, so that is really what inspired me. And I realized that when a woman loses a pregnancy, it's not just about her or the pregnancy. It also affects relationships, her relationship with the spouse, her relationship with family, in-laws, friends, even where her colleagues at work. You know, and how does she handle it, or how does she handle all these relationships? You know, so that is what we are talking about.
Auntie Bertha, for you as an educationist, educate us on how best, moving away from having lost the pregnancy, you can cope with that situation.
Yeah, losing a pregnancy is not a small thing. It's not an easy thing. I lost 5 pregnancies, 5. And I felt the whole world had come to an end in my life. So as an educationist, we have to talk to people. We have to advise them, counsel them to know the effect and how one should go about it when it comes. Yeah.
For a country that looks at, you know, deliveries or welcoming of a new child, not only for the nuclear family, but even the extended, and it's become a cultural thing. How do we move away from, or how do we help the families rather to cope when they lose? Because then everyone starts tagging the woman, either she's a witch, she killed her children, or something of the sort. Looking at it, how do we move away from that?
That is the tough part, you see, and we are still grappling with those issues. I believe that we need to understand what women go through, or what families go through, you know, when these things happen. And usually we'll tag the women, but the men also have, they go through very serious, you know, and difficult times. Probably they wouldn't talk about it much, they wouldn't cry as much, but they also go through it. We need to continue educating people that when somebody loses a child, this is how you can support. The support system is the difficult part. Sometimes people or family members just don't know how to support. So they would want to even stay away. But they're not staying away because they are unhappy with you as the person, but they just don't know how to deal with it, or how to even confront you, how to talk to you, how to encourage you. So they had better stay away. I mean, there have been stories. There was a young lady I spoke to who told me she had just lost a baby, and she said her friends are shying away from her. And she felt so bad. You know, and I was telling her that they are shying away because they don't know how to comfort you.
That's the
you know, so we need to educate people and make them understand that when people lose, they want you to be around them, not to tell them why or what should have happened. For instance, when I lost my baby, somebody told me I didn't pray enough. That is why it happened. You know, and I mean, that was like a dagger in my heart. How could you tell me that? But they don't know any better. You know, so we need to encourage people that when people lose, support them, but don't overdo it.
Auntie Bertha, for you haven't lost 5 children. How did you go about recouping or coming back to yourself?
Well, it wasn't easy, but thanks to excuse me, my husband, he supported me a lot. You know, I remember one day he told me that, oh, don't worry, Bertha. One day, if we grow and we have a child, we'll tell people it's our grandchild. And then I started laughing. I'm always there for you. Obamis have a child. But the problem is the family. You look at you as a young lady, you're so excited that you got married and then you are having you are going to have a child. And then all of a sudden, it didn't happen. The society, the family members will start talking. But my husband was so supportive. And then a few friends said, well, don't worry. You know, one thing is, it's God who gives. That's what he kept telling me, that it's God who gives. So at the right time, he'll give you what you want. And that is what at least gave me some confidence to move on, to try the second time, third time, fourth, fifth. And the sixth one, I nearly lost it too. But thank God he's alive.
We thank God for that. Baba, finally, tell us when the program is happening, where, how much does it cost?
Okay, so it's happening tomorrow, Friday. It's happening at the Executive Theatre here at TV3. And it doesn't cost anything. We are talking about multiple child losses, so miscarriages and preterm loss, how to deal with it. We are bringing in doctors, we are bringing in psychologists, and we are bringing in pastors to help us discuss it. Even more importantly, we are bringing in a couple who have had the experience, the worst of it, because they lost 4 babies in 4 years, and how they survived as a couple. And even beyond this event, we are interested in supporting families who have these issues. So you can always contact us. We are on Facebook at LMB Series. We are on Twitter at LMB Series. And you can also call us. You can call 0243 845 948 if you need support, and we are happy to link you to the right support. Thank you.
Very well. Thank you so much, Mrs. Bertha Medor and Baba Kofi, for joining us to talk about pregnancy loss and its effect on relationships. I'm sure you heard one word or another that will encourage you this morning to keep pushing. God will definitely give you your child at the appointed time. So tomorrow, make it a time here at the Executive Theatre of TV3 to learn more about it. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Stay here with us on New Day.
Belated happy birthday to you, Mr. Anthony Brobe of the Lexter Ghana Company Limited. You are producers of the Yars washing powder. Yesterday was your birthday. Happy birthday from the top brass of TV3, from head of television here, Mrs. Beatrice Ajimanabe, and to you, a special one to you. Live long, stay strong. And happy birthday to you, Mr. Pong Ejare Jekum Anani of the Ghana Institute of Journalism, the master's degree class. Say happy birthday to you, and they say they love you dearly. But let's talk about some energy issues, because I've been joined in studio by Mr. Senor Hosi, who's the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors. Senor, good morning. How you doing?
Morning. I'm well, and you?
You look fly. I mean.
Well, I've been on coolie high suspension, but I think I'm back.
You're back
for today.
So, Cabinet, following the unfortunate incident at the Atomic Junction, they put together 9 pointers to sort of regulate the system. First of all, your thoughts about that? What do you make of it? Is that the panacea to our problems?
Well, first of all, I think that it's a great thing to have Parliament have so much, Cabinet
right,
have that much commitment to this entire process. So I do recognize that, but I think at the heart of this thing is the continuous culture of impunity that has to be dealt with. For most of the 9 points, it's practically a call on government and industry to do what they are supposed to do anyway. You know, so for me, it's not too new. But for the introduction of the recirculation model, which I do welcome, but I do not see as the reason why we have this problem. The absence of it is not the reason why we have the gas explosion. No, I don't think they are that related. The main one is in number 8 or so, if I recall right, where it talks about going to it and dealing with every single official and holding people accountable.
Right.
That has been absent.
How long has that been absent?
June 3. You know, politicians, they like the cameras. They come and show, and for me, it's been significant pretense of empathy. Because when you go to the field and you really see people die that way, you don't sit back and then, you know, take it easy and just hope that time will make everybody forget about the pain. June 3 happened 2.5 years ago, about 2.5 years ago.
Right.
All right.
2015.
2015. Over 154 people died. Property lost. People bent. People now look like caricatures. They can hardly even get jobs. And people were responsible for that disaster. You held nobody accountable. You set up a committee, released nothing. Gas explosion happened. And I was very clear at the time, if we don't start holding people accountable, this thing would not change. You're going to have another explosion upon another explosion, another disaster upon another disaster. Not too long, last year, December, Lagos explosion happened.
Right.
Somebody here tell me who's been held responsible and accountable? Who has lost their job because of that? Who is in prison because of the lives that were lost? For failing to do their jobs that were expressly clear for them to do. Who? The station owner, the tanker owner.
Tell me.
The municipal assembly people who were responsible for making sure that the place was well zoned. Or is it the MPA inspector who may have failed to do his thing, or he did his job, so probably he's not responsible? The EPA guy, who is responsible for that disaster, and who has been held accountable for it? Safety is not a cheap thing. It's expensive. Following protocols is not easy. If you want to follow proper protocols, you have to train people. You have to make sure you hire people who are educated. If you want to have a very educated driver, you pay higher. If you want to follow protocols, you have to invest in equipment.
Are you suggesting?
Excuse me.
I need to understand you. Hold on. I need to understand you. You have mentioned a lot of things. One, you're talking about hiring quality. Is it your opinion that the quality in the market is not proper?
I will get there. I don't want to digress on the point.
I'm not making you digress. We don't have a lot of time.
I don't mind. I deal with the points that I deal with exhaustively.
Well, I mind.
I would have finished by now. Very simply, safety is not cheap. So when you allow industry to get away for breaching safety protocols, you don't encourage the rest of the industry to employ and invest in safety. If I will save 100,000 cedis for not following the rules and nothing will happen to me, why will I go and follow the rules and spend 100,000?
Tell me.
So that is the problem. We don't hold people accountable. We don't make not following the rules expensive. Because people breach the rules and they get away with it. So for me, at the heart of this is the need for us to hold people accountable.
So you're calling for a public inquiry?
Absolutely.
To be conducted by who? Because the very people you're laying blame to, NPA, EPA, Fire Service, local authority, all of them. You're asking who's being sent to jail. You're asking who's been punished for it. These are the very people who regulate the business. So if you're calling for a public inquiry, who are you demanding that specifically from?
That public inquiry must come from central government. Nobody knows who is responsible expressly. We're not just talking about EP, we're also talking about operators.
Right.
We, the operators, the owner of the station, the driver involved, we need to get to the bottom of it. Everybody should see that we actually have a mechanism that works. We are not putting in rules in this country all of a sudden. The MP has been very responsible in the development of protocols. If somebody fails to follow the protocol, how do you hold MPA responsible? You hold MPA responsible if MPA fails to hold that guy responsible. But it's a major disaster. It cuts across. The municipal assembly who allowed the commercial activities to develop around that station, who allowed it? Did they allow it within the confines of safety? If they didn't, and they watched that entire process, develop, they are responsible for it.
What level of collaboration exists between your outfit and all these major stakeholders? MPA, EPA, Fire Service, all of them, and the bulk distributors, the chamber that you had?
We are customers. All right. So they are service providers to us, and definitely we collaborate. And I'm very, very clear in my mind the players who are involved.
Okay.
All right, and that's why I do not support this call as people are saying they should call for whose head, as in the
MPA boss.
That's ridiculous.
Is it?
Oh, it's ridiculous. Why did the Tampuli come? The first thing Tampuli did was to sound this whole thing on safety and make everybody understand that you cannot breach safety rules and feel you can go free. You are exposed to criminal negligence. He's a very competent lawyer. And he made it clear. He held a whole session for everybody. So we are clear. Who has been criminally negligent? And that's, for me, my best takeaway in the 9 point, where government says they are going to look into it and make sure that they deal with anybody who has been criminally negligent.
Right.
Whether you are a public official or you are an operator, whoever contributed to this thing must be dealt with.
Must be brought to book. So,
and you know what? The moment you do it, everybody sitting in his corner if some big man tells him, give this guy a permit, when you know the guy doesn't qualify for it, you won't do it. So because when you do it, you'll be in trouble. And you've not seen what has happened, right? Energy Commission, all of a sudden, they are getting scared. So you see them saying that going forward, if you don't use certified electricians, blah, blah, blah will happen to you. Of course. That is the work they should have been doing long time ago.
It's a 9-day wonder. We've heard it before. After June 3, we heard it. After the Ladma gas explosion, we heard it. We've heard it in many different instances. Yeah. What gives you the impression that it's going to work this time around?
My only confidence can only come from the fact that I see anybody, the process of accountability, moving. And I don't think that we should have a fire report by a group of people who I respect the fire service. They also would have questions to answer for giving people permits. That's if the people did not qualify, the place didn't qualify for that. Everybody there. That's why I say we should have a public inquiry. Right. There are a lot of people involved. There's industry, as in the operators, the LPG, MCs, everybody. There's the regulators, the fire service, the MPA, the EP, the Atomic Energy Commission that approves some of the equipment that are used, the infrastructure that is used. Because the MPA depends on these agencies. Who went approving something that he shouldn't have approved?
Let's talk about quality because it's a matter that you mentioned earlier and you said you would come back to it. The quality of our operators. You get to some of our gas stations and you find the attendants, they are rolling the cylinders that have been filled with. You see, let's talk quality for those operators, for drivers and everybody.
There are key things with safety. There's protocol.
Okay.
There is infrastructure. And then there are people. We need to hire the right people, train the right people, have the right processes,
we hiring the right
and make
people?
sure we have the right
Are we
infrastructure.
hiring the right people?
All right. I don't think we're necessarily hiring the right people every time. For some of the entities, yes, people hire the right people. People need to understand what they are doing very well. But because people don't really want to pay, you hire people who are less educated, who are less competent, and you don't invest in training. But if in South Africa, when you have a disaster like that, the CEO of that company, he will be in jail at some point.
So
if
is that what you're calling for?
No, I'm saying that. That's what I said. Look, we have to hold people accountable. That's where you get to the bottom. Did the company do the right things in training and making sure they hire the right people? If they deliberately didn't do it, they have questions to answer.
But it's almost like an open secret that these attendants at fuel stations, gas stations, don't really have any qualification in that field.
Are they trained enough? If they are trained enough and they have the
SS leavers
are okay.
Frustrated university graduates who can find jobs.
Fantastic. But if you train them with the right skill, fine.
Do you know if they are trained? Do you know if they are trained?
They're supposed to be training. It is the entity's responsibility.
Do you know if they are trained?
Some organizations train. Shell does a lot of training. Total does a lot of training. I know.
What about the others? These are about just 4, 5,
Glory
6.
Oil, I know that's quite some training.
So the others that are left, what happens to them?
I can speak for them.
You're the CEO of the chamber.
I'm the CEO of the chamber, not for oil marketing companies, for bulk distribution companies, and we make sure that our members train our
their work impacts yours. Now we're being told how Etiabo gas could be responsible for this explosion. It must be a cause of worry for you.
It is a very uninformed view. There's nothing wrong with Etiabo gas. Etiabo gas, as a matter of fact, is one of the best gas you can have for heating.
So why would anybody say that?
Again, because people are not well informed. The thing is, people get used to something different happens, and they don't apply the right rules. I'll tell you about Etiabo gas. Etiabo gas is about 50% thereabout of propane versus butane. The main properties you find in gas is propane and butane. Ghana has 3 standards. Pure propane, pure butane, and a mixed. When it's mixed, you have you're supposed to keep a maximum 60% propane. What we typically import is propane of 20%. What Etiabo produces may just be about 50% propane. Propane is a higher quality heating agent than butane, but it is more volatile. So when you are having propane and you have to manage it domestically, for these facilities, you must follow the full protocols. Use the right hoses. Apply your vapor recovery systems. And if people decide not to do it and want to use water hoses, you can't hold the authority responsible. People just want to breach the rules. But it's not every LPG MC does that. We have 900 LPG MCs in this country. Atuabo Gas has been in this country for two years. Have you had 900 stations blow up? Have you had 100 stations blow up? There are many stations that have been operating alongside the protocols and the rules, and we've had no problem.
So you say the accusers are looking in the wrong direction?
Wrong direction. I think that there are bad nuts in industry.
Okay.
And you have to use the process of accountability to deal with
when
them.
When do you hope for this inquiry, public inquiry, to come in?
For me, I think it should be ASAP. And I request that it be public, because I don't want another June 3 story. People hide in a corner, have a discussion, a report we all don't see, a report that this is petrol. The money involved is huge. Anybody can influence anybody anywhere. All of us, media should be able to sit in and listen to the questioning that's happening between Mr. A and Mr. B. For God's sake, even the FBI director in America goes to face a public inquiry. Right. So why wouldn't we summon everybody? Let us know, EP, what you did. Where did you go wrong?
Okay.
Gas owner, where did you go wrong? What did you do right? What happened? Let everybody understand. Let the public have confidence that their real concerns are being addressed. Because
are you suggesting that the public has lost interest and confidence in...
A lot of people are now scared of even going to gas stations.
Senor Osei, thank you very much for your time. Senor Osei is the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors. He's been talking to us about what we need to do and just keep the talk shops. There's more New Day. Miss Bell comes up on this very set. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Indeed, yeah, Fanchen. That's coming from Miss Bell. She's here in studio with us as Johnny promised you. Good morning, dear.
He goes, why the Johnny?
She said Odo Fache before she said Yen Fanche. But you picked on Yen Fanche. So Odo Fache, did you wrong somebody?
Oh, it's a love song.
Okay, but you didn't wrong anybody.
No, I don't think.
Okay.
But I'm human, so
you didn't wrong your lover. You didn't wrong your lover.
I don't know.
Exactly. People will say you did. I mean, you had a feud between yourself and Ifya, but we saw a video where you guys bonded nicely. So in that, you
Oh yeah,
between you and Ifya Swazinga, who is bad?
We are not bad. We are just.
No, I'm not saying you are bad. I'm saying between you and her, who is bad?
No, she's not bad.
She's not bad. You're not bad. Yeah. You're both good.
She's aggressive. She's like the opposite of me. She's giddy giddy and I am slow motion.
Really? Are you slow motion?
Very.
Really? It doesn't show.
I am slow motion.
But also, you sparked some controversy between yourself. I mean, once you've been on the scene, whenever we hear Miss Bell, it's attached to some controversy of some sort. You've had one with Delay, you've had one with Ifya.
I never had anything with Delay.
So let's go to that. What really is it between yourself and Delay? Because we know on the platform of GH1, you happen to say, you mentioned Delay. Just tell us about it.
I don't have any issue with Delay. And they never even asked me if I have an issue with Delay. Bella asked that, how do I feel when I see Delay using that interview I did with her for her promo? How do I feel when I keep seeing? And I said, I'm disappointed because first of all, she did not show everything that I said. She edited the part that she thinks can sell the program. And it's done. It has created a lot of trouble in the media, controversies, and it's past and gone. So I don't know why you have a new face of the program on a different channel and you still want to use that as a promo. It's like you always want to remind people of something, they are trying to...
Did you give express permission for that clip to be used?
No. I didn't.
You didn't.
She didn't even talk to me, and I'm not going to even ask her anymore.
You're not going to ask. Are you hurt? Are you hurt by that?
I'm not hurt, but I'm disappointed because with everything that is going on with this person, you don't want to be rubbing this in the faces of his friends, children, family. It's wrong. And you're a human being. You should just know that this is wrong. And
your choice of clothing is par excellence. Where do you get that from? As in the fashion sense?
I'm following something now, so gradually my fashion sense is also changing and following that trend too.
What are you following?
And the teachings of the Jew.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they tell you a woman has to be like very modest, all covered up.
So now you don't show flesh, a lot of flesh on your bones.
I show some legs sometimes.
Let me ask you on that score, what inspired your religion? I mean, moving from a particular religion or a particular thought in the religious field to being Jew, to thinking of following the Jewish tradition?
Because it make with them when they say A is A, A is A. Right. You know, but with Christianity, they will say this, and then the next minute, the person who is telling you this is so confident about doing something else.
Are you painting every Christian with the same brush? Because there are Christians who say yes and it is yes.
Okay, most Christians.
That you've come across.
Yes.
But you say that across board, every Jew, once they say it's yes.
No, the Jews that are following the Torah, when is this, is that. Okay. There are so many Jews all over the world who don't even follow the Torah. They don't care because it's too strict. So those who follow it, they make sure that...
Do you follow the Torah?
I try to.
You try to?
Yeah.
On a scale of 0 to 100?
I would say 40.
40?
Yeah.
So you're still working at it?
And
when do you hope to get to 60 or 80?
Soon. Yeah, very soon.
Free SHS has come up.
I don't want to talk about
I want to talk about that. I want to talk about I'm sure you want to be Miss Bell. I also want to.
I'm not
I'm sure you want to be. You want to be Miss Bell.
Anyway, so let's
hold on.
What she plans to do in the near future, Johnny.
We want to talk about free SHS. She wants to be Miss Bell. I want to be Johnny Hughes. I want to ask the question.
I'm dressing up.
So free. No worry. She will talk about it. Miss Bell, how are you?
I'm very well.
Free SHS has come. You know it. You put people out there, your son up there, right?
Huh? She didn't hear that. So yourself, finally, just your last words.
What do you think of the free meals being distributed lunch after lunch for students?
Don't push me because I will say
no,
something
tell me.
That will shake the foundation of the free.
I want an honest opinion. I want an honest opinion.
I went to the school. It was free. I said, oh my goodness, it's actually free. I went to visit my son and everything. It was a total different story.
What was the story?
I don't want to
talk about it. The food was not good?
I don't want to talk about it, but we are dealing with it.
You are dealing with it?
Yeah.
How are you dealing with it?
Very, very some way.
How are you dealing with it? Whisper to me.
Anyway, guys, unfortunately, that didn't allow us to delve more into Miss Bell. I'm sure you got a tidbit of her.
It's okay.
And there's more to come on radio.
She looks good. We like her.
Ask me about my new video.
That's what I was going to ask you about, but unfortunately,
the people will show it now.
So we'll do that on radio. Anyway, guys, so that's all time will afford us here on NewDay. I'm sure you catch Miss Bell on radio this morning, 3 FM.
The new video is for you.
Nobody got the remedy. How you do me, Look a freak man. When I watch me, love with them side. Many one can, yeah. But me go now for me go, my dear. They see me for tower, me for